Welcome to Jersey Matters. I'm Larry Menti. In a moment, we're going to talk to South Jersey Democratic Congressman Donald Norcross about his quest for re-election and the fight against opioids. Also on today's show, universal paid sick leave is now the law in New Jersey. We'll tell you what that means to you. And the remains of one of the Tuskegee Airmen is finally coming home to New Jersey. And now, our interview with South Jersey Congressman Donald Norcross. As part of your philosophy, Joe Biden was in recently to campaign for you and fundraise for you, but it raised a lot of eyebrows because people thought, wait a second, Joe Biden, is he campaigning for you, or is he campaigning for himself? Is he running for president?
That's a good question that only Joe can answer. Obviously, that question has been raised now, but it was also raised 2 years ago. Having gone through those personal tragedies that the Vice President went through, I think it's only he that can actually make that decision. And anybody who's gone through that, my heart goes out to him.
He's certainly out there. He was on CBS This Morning the other day, and one of the questions that was asked to him, which I'll ask of you, they said, if the Democrats take the House, will they start impeachment proceedings? And he said, I hope not, because there's no grounds right now.
Well, you have to wait for the report to come back, and I think that's critical. Obviously, we're seeing people in the heat of a campaign, they get very blue or very red, and what you see here is we need to wait for the report to come back from the special investigation and see what they say.
So as of right now, you agree with Joe Biden, there are no grounds at this point?
I don't believe there are, but I'm smart enough to say let's wait and see what the experts tell us.
I want to ask you one question about the biggest story in New Jersey right now, and that is the accusation of sexual assault by a staff member in the Murphy administration, and the fact that the man who was accused and was under criminal investigation for sexual assault was hired by Governor Murphy. There's been a call for hearings. I just wanted to get your take on what's going on.
Well, as of yesterday, I know Senate President Sweeney convened a committee to look into it. The governor has created a special counsel to look into it. I think that's what has to happen. You know, did the governor know it when he made those decisions? I think all that will come out in the investigation. Let's look at it. But these are very, very serious accusations, and certainly my heart goes out to the young lady who suffered this tragedy.
Yeah, Katie Brennan, she says she sent a letter to both Murphy and Tammy before the election and didn't hear back from either of them.
Well, as it was reported, it said that she wanted to talk about a personal matter. And you can imagine with the volume of mail that goes to a governor or governor-elect, when you say we want to talk about a personal matter, it could be anything. It could have been a job. So let's wait and see. Obviously, we have to have sensitivity to the young lady and make sure that we get to the bottom of it. It's very serious.
Let's talk about opioids in New Jersey, because I know you are co-chair of a special task force in dealing with this. The most recent study that came out across the country showed that opioid overdose deaths in most states were going down, but not New Jersey. They were going up.
The actual numbers for the entire country have gone up. Last year, 72,000 people lost their lives. That's more than the entire Vietnam War. It's more than the height of the AIDS epidemic. But we in this country aren't treating it like it is an epidemic.
What are we missing?
What are we missing? People look at it in this country as a moral failing. It's not. It's a disease. So we, as an educational process, have to understand that this isn't a self-imposed issue. This is the disease of addiction. We need to treat it as such. So we just passed a series of bills in Congress that are awaiting the signature of our president. The one that I had is Jobs Plus Recovery. It's to make sure more dollars are available for treatment. But after you get clean, you have to make sure you have employment so you don't fall back into some of the old habits. So as I say, the best social program's a job. And this addresses that second issue after addiction, is to make sure you have employment.
Well, that's interesting, because they do talk about the fact people go through rehab and then go back into the same social setting that they were in before, and they fall right back into it. Maybe that is the problem, because there's been so much money spent on it in the state level, the local level, the federal level, and it doesn't seem to be getting better.
Actually, there hasn't been that much spent. Society has spent that much money. law enforcement, prisons, institutions. That money has been spent.
You think there needs to be more money?
Oh, absolutely, for treatment. You know, there's so many people that are waiting for treatment beds that never make it there.
I just talked to someone the other day that's fighting it at the ground level, and they said, look, we don't need more bureaucracy, we need more beds. Get us more beds so we can treat more people.
Well, that's part of the issue, and the second issue is going on something that Camden County announced yesterday. It's a pretrial intervention program at the local municipal level, at the level that most addicts at some point in their career of addiction will enter. And this way is trying to divert them, that they'll have a choice either to go into treatment or continue down the criminal path that they're on. Most of them are treatment bound, and Gloucester County and Gloucester Township in particular has really spearheaded this issue, and now it's the 20 towns in Camden County. That's going to take a step in the right direction, but that's only part of the issue. That's to take the criminal element and get them into treatment, but if the beds aren't there, they're going to have difficulty.
You're in a couple of committees in the House, the Armed Services Committee and the Employment and Workforce Committee. One issue I wanted to deal with real quickly, because I know it's near and dear to your heart when it comes to labor, is the fact that people aren't retiring with enough money these days.
This is a slow train coming out of America. We are going to hit a wall very shortly where those who are retiring have little or nothing to retire on other than Social Security. A study just released a few weeks ago said 1 in 3 Americans have less than $5,000 put away for their retirement. And it gets worse. 21% of all adult Americans have nothing. So we're talking almost half the population has virtually nothing set for retirement. That means they're literally going to have to work until they die. That's not the American dream that I grew up with. You wanted to defer money to those golden years. It's deferred wages, and those who used to have pensions aren't having those anymore. They're being shed by companies left and right. They don't want to have that responsibility that companies used to take on.
The federal government can't force them to do that. What's the federal response to that?
Well, there are a number of issues. Number one, to make sure that the insurance company that backs up pension is healthy. That's something that the federal government has always been involved in. But we also can create incentives for companies to offer pensions or self-directed plans. The 401s that you so often hear about are federally subsidized from the sense that there's a tax advantage for putting money away early. The time to start saving for retirement is actually when you start working, not when you turn 55. It's virtually too late at that point.
Thank you so much. I appreciate you talking to us. I'd love to talk to you some more. There's so many other things, but we take seriously the equal time laws by the FCC.
I understand
we gave
this.
your candidate one segment. We're doing it with you as well, but would love to talk to you again after the midterm elections.
Look forward to it.
Congressman Donald Norcross from the 1st Congressional District in New Jersey. Jersey Matters continues right after this. Still to come on Jersey Matters, the quest for LGBTQ equality continues in the Garden State. We'll give you an update when Jersey Matters continues.